So I'm just going to talk about my trek in India quickly, as quickly as I can do it anyway. Um, I've got a bunch of footage that was shot on my GoPro, and unfortunately on the way down I tumbled heaps. I slid down on my bum like deliberately because it was so steep, and at some point my GoPro's fallen out of my pocket, so footage from the high pass and just most of the day really was on that, so I've only got a little bit on my normal camera, which I'll chuck on the video after I finish banging on. Yeah, so I went to the tourist office and asked them for some advice on which trek to do. Like, I just wanted to do something pretty short, not too hard, because I've just been in a motorbike crash, and something that's okay to do on my own without a guide. And they recommended this Spiddock to Stock trek, and so I set off the next morning to do that and got a cab to a place called Jingchen, which is inside the Hemis High Altitude National Park. Pretty scary drive. You're over the edge of like a huge drop, like, I don't know, a couple hundred meters or something, but luckily I had a very safe and slow driver. So I started trekking from Jingchen to a place called Rumbuk on day one. The internet's really slow here, and I couldn't really research the trek, so I didn't know how long I'd be walking for, but it turned out it was only about 3 hours, which is awesome. So for that reason it wasn't too hard, but I was struggling because I thought this might go for 7 or 8 hours or something, and it was all uphill but not too steep. On that day, early in the trek, I met some people coming the other way, some Aussies actually, and I was saying how I was struggling a bit, and then they were like, well, if you're struggling today, the next day is going to be really hard and gross for you. So I started getting nervous after that, because I thought it was meant to be an easy trek. And by easy, I think they mean easily guided, as in you shouldn't get lost, it's pretty straightforward. But there's no signage, there's nothing to tell you which way to go, other than good advice I got was to follow the pony poo and footsteps, so it worked for most of the time. I met a couple of guys from Kashmir down the bottom. They were camping for like 10 days or something there in hope of seeing the snow leopard, so I think there's about 12 or 13 snow leopards in just that little area, so that was cool. And then once I got to Rumbuk and found a homestay, I met some Indian tourists from Bombay, and they had a guide with them who was really into wildlife, and he had a telescope to look for the snow leopards and other wildlife, and it was pretty cool. They showed me a heap of blue sheep, and I couldn't spot them for a while through the telescope because it wasn't what I was expecting. Like, I was expecting blue sheep, and they're not blue, and they don't really look like sheep either, so but yeah, it was cool anyway. And they actually said the next day after I leave, they'll watch me through the telescope doing the high pass, and that I feel really bad for if they did watch me, because the high pass is 5,000 meters and I got stuck like 20 meters from the top, and it was petrifying. Like, I'm so scared of heights, and yeah, I could see the prayer flags, like meaning it was the high pass, really soon, but I couldn't see where the path was to get to the pass, and it wasn't clear. There was probably a few options you could take, and all of them looked suicidal, like they were so steep, and it's where I couldn't see any pony poo anymore or footsteps, so I didn't know how to do it, and I saw pony carcasses, and that was pretty off-putting. But I literally sat up there for about an hour, maybe an hour and a half, crapping myself. Sorry. Thinking, how do I do this last 20 or 30 meters? and I knew I couldn't go back down, it was too steep, and there's probably an hour's worth where you're just walking on this really narrow path that's on the edge of a cliff. And same with that last 20 or 30 metres to get to the pass. It was like if I just lost my footing or slipped, it would have been such a steep fall, I don't think I would have survived. So I was crapping myself, and in the end I just saved all my energy and I ran up it like in a quick burst. Once I did the high pass, it was 5,000 metres, really windy, getting really cold. It was 3 o'clock in the afternoon, which is way too late because there's meant to be about another 4-hour walk downhill to the next village. I was pretty emotional because I was probably 5 minutes away from saying a goodbye message on the GoPro. I slid downhill on my bum for the first half hour. It wasn't too steep, but my legs were just spent. And then, I tried to make my way to stock. Saw some wildlife, some more wild sheep, some Himalayan eagles. But unfortunately I didn't make it to the village before sunset, and I had to walk about 3 hours in the dark. It was pretty scary. I started getting really nervous, thinking I'm going to have to spend the night outside. I found a couple of kind of cave things where I thought I might be able to sleep. But then I was worried about, this is probably some animal's home and it might not be a friendly animal, so I thought better of that idea. Then I found a couple of barns that were empty, and I tried to break into them, but I couldn't without smashing a window or anything, so I didn't do that. Sorry, traffic. So I had no torch, no source of light. Scary as. I had to cross a river 3 or 4 times. That was a flowing river in the dark. So I was drenched. I started getting really cold. I think it was about, by night time, -5, -6 degrees, and I wasn't that well prepared. I was wearing tracky pants. I did buy a jacket here in town, but I don't know, it's a no-name brand jacket, it's nothing spectacular. And I wasn't even wearing trekking shoes, I was wearing these $1 runners my mum got for me from the op shop. So it's pretty bad. Anyway, I walked a couple of hours more and then I could see a light on a house. I knocked on the door and there was a family inside. It was what turned out to be a mother, the uncle, and 2 little girls. I was like, "Hi, I'm so lost. Would I be able to sleep on your floor or something tonight? I can give you some money." And they took me in. They were all living in a 1-room house, and the 5 of them were sitting in bed together while the kids were doing their schoolwork. So they gave me blankets, I sat in bed with them. The mum made probably my favourite Ladakhi meal, which is called skew. It's kind of like gnocchi. I don't know, like a vegetable soup, I guess. They were so good to me. We just stayed up for a couple of hours chatting, and then I went to sleep. In the morning, the woman's husband, who I hadn't met the day before, he's a taxi driver. He drove me back to town, wouldn't take any money off me. And that's it. That's my trekking story. So now for some footage. So I'm feeling really good now. I can breathe heaps easier, and it's not as steep as it was. It's levelled out a lot, and it's got a lot more interesting. There's rivers and stuff, and it's really nice nature. I've been seeing a few people walk past downhill, and they're saying I've got a couple of hours to go, so that's okay. I'm just taking it slowly, but I'm feeling pretty good. no headaches or anything, and it's probably like I've been in lay for 6 days, so I'm pretty well acclimatised, and I mean I didn't have any problems to start with. As soon as I got there I was fine, so yeah, hopefully I should be okay if I just take it slowly. So I'm going to Rumbuk, which is 4,000 metres, and I'll find a homestay there hopefully and stay there the night. Then tomorrow morning I'll go to Stocklar, which is I think just over 4,800, so, and there's a mountain pass to cross there, which hopefully isn't too scary, but yeah. Just seen my first glimpse of mountain. Chile.
Chile once again.
I found the homestays. I'm going to walk a little bit further though, just to make it a bit easier in the morning, so I can see a few more distance. Hello kids. I should have brought some carrots and apple, shouldn't I? Hello. And just got to my homestay. Well, I didn't just really get here. I got here a couple of hours ago and I was having trouble breathing. The air's pretty thin, but I'm just unfit, so I just wanted to lie down for a couple of hours, and I feel heaps better now, so I'm sleeping on the mattress in the corner here. Heaps of warm blankets, so it's a ride, and there's a nice view out the window. I think I'm climbing that mountain tomorrow. I'm pretty nervous. I met some people and they looked pretty fit and like good at trekking, and they said it took them 7 to 8 hours to do, and I was saying how I was struggling with this day, and they said, oh, tomorrow will be really hard for you then, so I'm gonna get up really early and give myself like 12 hours of daylight to do it or something, because I think I will struggle. Here's the animals that can be seen here. They have the snow leopard, and I think it's pretty common in this area. I chose this trek because it's meant to like have some animals around, but they said it was easy as well, which from what I'm hearing about going over Stock Mountain tomorrow, I don't know how easy it's going to be, but yeah, it'd be cool if I see some of these animals. So day one's complete. It wasn't too hard in the end. Like, I didn't research it. It's a bit hard to get internet in Leh. It always cuts out and it's really slow. So I didn't know how long the trek would be. And it was only 3 hours today in the end. All uphill, but not too bad. And so sorry, there's someone outside at the window. Yeah, so it was just hard because in my head I thought, oh, I might be walking, like this for 8 hours, or I might not make it to a homestay before it gets dark, but it was all good. And I've met some Indian tourists from Bombay, and they have a guide with them, and the guides told me that I'll be able to climb the pass tomorrow by myself, should be okay, because I got a bit worried. He has a telescope, and we were watching during the day someone coming down, and he was coming down on his bum, and the guide said it's not that steep, there must be something wrong with him. And then he could see that he was going off trail, and I don't know, it looked a bit disastrous for the poor guy. So, and then I started getting stressed because it looks so steep. It looks like it's vertical, but the guide says it looks steep, but it's not too bad. zigzags a lot and stuff, so yeah, I'm nervous about it, but should be good. I'm going to get up pretty early in the morning and give myself a lot of daylight to do it. So they say it should take 8 hours. I'm going to get to I think 5,000 meters, maybe 4,900 or something. And yeah, it's meant to take 8 hours, but I'm so slow and unfit. I want to utilise all the daylight hours.